And I know it's really a personal decision on what people choose to do when it comes to taking Social Security at an earlier age. So how do you really bridge that gap? Again, if you want to retire at 55 like I do, how can you do this, and how can you do this mathematically, logically? How am I going to do it? So if I retire at the age of 55, we have really a couple different scenarios. In many cases, 10% early withdrawal if I'm taking money out of 401ks before that 59 and a half. The penalty also for the IRAs, meaning that if I quit my job the year after or when I turn 55, I will have the ability to essentially have no income. At that point, this is where I have individual investment accounts, brokerage accounts that are outside of the 401ks, that are outside of the IRS, or excuse me, the IRA accounts. It is in taxable brokerage accounts. And at this point, because we're doing kind of the switch from coming from income, W-2 income into capital gains that we're seeing on investment accounts, is getting the investment accounts to a point where when we get dividend income, it can support and really cover a majority of the expenses until we hit the age 62, where we can start drawing Social Security to replenish a lot of those funds during that time. Now, of course, when you think of the early IRA withdrawal rules, there's a couple: totally disabled, permanently disabled, education expenses, buying a first-time house. There are a few different ways to get into it. But when we start looking at pension plans, most of them you cannot draw at 55, which unfortunately, I do not have a pension plan. This is where the non-retirement accounts come in. When we think of high yield savings accounts, when we look at stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, investment vehicles, these are the dividend stocks and the dividend funds that I'm going to have to bridge the gap between 55 and also 62. Now, in addition, a lot of people that I've seen also bridge it using their home as equity. So literally, if you have a home equity line of credit, which I do not advise it whatsoever, reason being, home equity line of credits, or really borrowing against your home, in my opinion, turns it into an asset. But if you did have one by chance, you could float a couple years with the interest that you're getting in there with the regular bills. Now, of course, to make this happen, there is one pivotal thing that needs to happen by the age of 55. And that is right back here, guys. That is the debt-free journey. So if I hit the age of 55, we have newer vehicles, not going to have to worry about that. We're going to pay them off in full. At the age of 50, I plan to pay off my mortgage in its entirety, meaning at the age of 50, if we're working until 55, but at the age of 50, we will be 100% debt free.